And with this, I will give the floor to the general evaluator, Lilly, to tell us a bit more about the roles and the team she's heading today.
Fellow Toastmasters, honoured guests. Hands up for guests that are here for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Wow. In a regular meeting, if you were the only guest, or it wasn't after the club's day when we really expected there would be 50 new people, we would be asking each one of you to introduce yourselves. Depending on the timing at the end, we might get to ask you, how was the meeting? So I hope you can all stay until the scheduled time is 1:30 for it to complete the meeting, so that would be really great if you can give us your feedback. My evaluation team today, we have a little bit of impromptu place taking today. Marie-Theresa will be the grammarian today.
Yes, Madam General Evaluator. My name is Toastmaster Maria-Theresa, and I have thought of a word of the day. It's because of Yazanuri and because of Toastmasters, and today's word of the day is competent. But you can use it in a variety of forms. You can use it as competencies, competently, etc., and so on and so forth. So I'll be keeping track of the times that I hear that word used. Plus, I'll also, as a grammarian, be keeping track of the way that we use the English language. I mean, we're all very good in here, but every once in a while there are a few things that you slip up on. I'll tell you something about myself several years ago. As a native speaker, I always used to confuse anecdote and antidote. And I got teased to no end. Marie-Theresa, why can't you get this right? Well, it took a while, but it was people that told me, Marie-Theresa, you're mixing it up. I thought I was doing it perfectly. Don't we always think we're doing it perfectly until somebody says, anecdote? No, you're talking about an anecdote. So just as an example, but I'm going to be keeping track of our usage of the language. So I return control of the meeting to our exceedingly competent general evaluator, Toastmaster Lilly.
Wasn't that funny? She has just won herself a point. So we have a number of members of the evaluation team, and I'm called the general evaluator. I will be evaluating the whole meeting at the end. My job as a general evaluator is to get together an evaluation team, fail, and the positions, fill all the positions. And because in this environment it's very difficult, excuses, to get people to commit to come to these meetings and to really come on time, then it's not that easy to organise. So we specialise in this club in impromptu improvisation. So I have already introduced the grammarian. We also have the first evaluator who will be evaluating the prepared speech of the day. And the first evaluator today is VIC. The R counter, Magdalena, will be counting the number of times that we use filler words. I just said that as an example of what she'll be counting. Okay? So you might not even realise how often you say well, what I really meant was, she'll be counting them. And we have a penalty system where we collect money for our Christmas party, where we have drinks provided by the club.
Not from guests.
For every filler word that is counted, 10-cent fine, up to a maximum of €1. That doesn't mean when you've made your 10 R's that you keep going because you won't have to pay anymore. It means you become a little bit more aware. Okay? So, Magdalena is our R counter, Brigitte is our timekeeper.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us what you will do then to fulfill your role as timekeeper, please?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, for giving me the word. I'm taking the time today, in specific for the prepared speeches and also for the table topic speakers. Okay, voila. For the prepared speeches, we have a given time within the speaker can present his speech. At when the minimum time passed, I show the green sign. let's say if it's 8 to 10 minutes, at 8 minutes I show the green card, so he knows he still has 2 minutes to go. After 9 minutes I show the yellow one, to give him the signal he should come to the end. And when the scheduled time is over, I show the red card. That means the speaker really has to finish his speech. In our meeting environment, it's not that important that he really stays within the scheduled time. But if you participate in a contest, then it makes a big difference, because if he uses then more than half a minute in addition, then he would be disqualified. So it's a good place to train, to stay within the given time. And also for table topics, we have a maximum of, or let's say, a planned limit of 2 minutes. And the table topic speaker can also speak for half a minute longer, not to be disqualified, or half a minute shorter. So I show the same signs after 1.5 minutes, the green one, at 1 minute the green, at 1.5 minutes the yellow one, and 2 minutes so that the speaker has to stop. Yeah, this was now a very long explanation. I was not really prepared for that. But it's also one of our goals, to train to give a speech within a certain time.
As well as competent communication, Toastmasters trains us in competent leadership. So you have the competent communication manual with 10 projects, different speeches that pace you through your growth and development in presentation skills and communication. There's also a leadership manual, and many of the roles that we take in the meeting, like the timekeeper, the grammarian, the general evaluator, the Toastmaster of the day, are part of the leadership training program, where we score points for attaining that level. And at the end, when we've accomplished the competent leadership or competent communicator, we get a certificate and a badge, and we're very happy and we're congratulated by our colleagues. And we actually improve. We have a ballot counter, and the ballot counter will be counting the votes for the table topic speeches, and that is Vicky. I'm the general evaluator, and that is the whole evaluation team, and I give control back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Now we will proceed to the evaluation section of our meeting, and I will give the floor again to our general evaluator, Lilly. You have the floor.
Hello Toastmasters, honoured guests, Madam Toastmaster of the day. As a general evaluator, I'd like to ask now our speech evaluator of the first speech to evaluate the presentation that Yasin I'd like to invite Vicky.
Madam General.
So the Toastmasters meeting is the prepared speech, the evaluation, and the impromptu speaking. So in the evaluation, we have the evaluation of the first speaker. We also have the other aspects of the evaluation. Let me go to the ballot counter. Victoria, you ready for that? You still doing that? I'll leave that then. We'll go to the timekeeper. Whoops, I haven't got my list. Okay, so I haven't got, okay. The timekeeper, please give your report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I keep it short. Today's timing report is the following. We had one speaker, Toastmaster Yasunori. His speak was scheduled for 8 to 10 minutes, and he used 9 minutes and 23 seconds. This was exactly within the time range. For the table topics, we had Sonia, a speaker. She used 2 minutes 38 seconds. This means in a contest she would have been disqualified because she used more than 2 minutes 30 seconds. Rina spoke only 46 seconds. This is also too short because the minimum time is 1 minute 30 seconds. Then myself, I spoke 2 minutes 28 seconds, so I just made it 3 seconds more and I would have been disqualified too. And Toastmaster Vicky, she used 1 minute 30 seconds. And the last table topic speaker, Toastmaster Yasunori, used 1 minute and 4 seconds. This is also a bit too short, but in a contest it would have been disqualified. At the beginning I forgot to mention that we also time the evaluation, and our evaluator, Toastmaster Vicky, used 4 minutes and 3 seconds, and the maximum time would have been 3 minutes. But I think it was worse.
But it was so special.
Because there was
I really had to.
such a lot to say. So thank you. This is the timely report for today.
Our counter. Magdalene, would you like to give out our counter report, please?
Madam General Evaluator and fellow Toastmasters and all our guests. In Toastmasters, we count what we call the A's, the fillers, because they distract the audience from the message you want to give. Sometimes there are fillers and they not necessarily distract the audience, but of course it sounds much nicer if we don't have any A's, or if we try to have as few as possible. So Toastmaster Nicole, she had a lot of minutes to talk through the meeting, so you have more than 10 A's. But just to give a bit more qualitative information about this, maybe this helps you. Very few so's, there were a few. Some, I think you did it twice. And then a few interrupted sentences that sometimes we say something, we stop because we get confused or distracted, and then we start again. And there were some A's. All in all, you are very good at speaking, and I think for the time you spoke, there were very few in general, but maybe you want to take a more, let's say, a close look at them. Toastmaster Lilly, you only made 4, and you also have a lot to say today. Toastmaster Vicky, you had 4 you-knows, I think there were a few. Maria Teresa, I counted 2 of yours, I don't remember what they were. Toastmaster Brigitte, you have more than 10, but just for you to know, what I hear is sometimes you're saying a sentence, a word, and instead of giving air between the one word and the other, I think you are breathing, and then we hear like a sigh, like sometimes it sounds like not like expelling the air or taking air, so the other way around. So maybe you want to look at that. Toastmaster Yasunori, you had a few repetitions of words, probably not intended, and some interrupted sentences, and very few A's in total. I think, yeah, you were just, let's say, around 10. And Toastmaster Sonia, she had 7. So this concludes my report.
Grammarian, Maria Teresa, may I ask for your grammarian report, please?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. I listened intently, but I didn't hear very much that was wrong today. I don't know whether it was the pressure that we had so many guests, we thought we had to be especially good, or whether her English has not improved dramatically. Practically nothing to say, except I do comment on the usage of the word competence, which was used by Eva, Lilly, Nicole, Shuba, myself, and I'm sure introducing our future competent Toastmaster, we used it. The other thing that I noticed, and again, not to take away from Yasunori, but it did somehow hit me because I had not heard anything wrong. You spoke about the great number of appreciation. I knew exactly what you meant. And somehow I thought, I really shouldn't even mention it, because it's not grammatically correct. I suggest you say the number of slips I got from a fellow Toastmasters or the positive feedback. I think what you meant when you said evaluation or appreciation was positive feedback. The other thing I comment on, I heard the word challenge used often in this meeting. I've used it myself. Why don't we give it a positive spin and say it's not a challenge, it's an opportunity. Think about the possibilities. Something's not necessary, because challenge kind of makes it sound like it's going to be an uphill battle. Opportunity makes it, at least for me, sound doable, possible. And I only can say yes in a way. I wrote you a really lengthy evaluation. I gave you lots of positive feedback on your speech. But I only can say you, for me, are an example of somebody in Toastmasters who has gone after everything that's offered. You've grabbed it, you've seized the day, and you have made our club so much richer for it. So that has nothing to do with grammar, but I had to get that in. So I return control of the meeting to the general evaluator of the day, who happens to be Toastmaster Lilly.
Thank you for the grammarian's report. We also have a ballot counter for the table topics.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, we have a winner of today for the table topic speech, and she's not sitting on a chair now, she's left already. It's Sonia.
So I believe we have covered each of the roles of the evaluation committee. As the general evaluator, I'd like to say we did not start the meeting punctually. We've always got good excuses. I believe we were about 6 minutes late at the beginning. The roles were not clear at the start. It would really be wonderful to have all the roles in advance, to keep them and to be able to follow them through and to read the tips on the website in Easy Speak about what to do. Just as another comment towards that, Vicky, as our Vice President Education, actually went to a lot of trouble and posted and sent a copy of instructions for the Toastmaster of the Day, can you call? Yes. And each one of these roles are available on the Easy Speak. So when you click on the role that you are thinking about taking, you will open up another page where you can see what the role entails. And I believe that is a very positive aspect, that our Vice President Education is taking her position very seriously and trying to encourage each one of us to take our roles. The Toastmaster of the Day gave an explanation of what we were doing, talked about fear control and the purpose of the slips that we have, about honing our evaluation skills and listening skills. I thought that was extremely useful and very positive information, especially considering that we had so many guests today. Also introducing the manual. It was the words that she talked about, informal, friendly. I would have used the word trusted environment. That is, I think, what I would have used, because she was searching for the fact that actually Toastmasters is a structured meeting following parliamentary procedure very much, the things that happen in this house in the United Nations, and it's not informal in that sense, but it's a trusted environment. We're here together, and what we say here, we're not going to be laughing at you out in the cafeteria and saying, did you hear how many R's they said and all the mistakes that they made. This is an area where we create a trusted environment where we provide peer support to grow together. So the evaluations are on the same level. They're not an up-down situation where we're criticising each other. We're offering the evaluations to support each other. So we did not give any opportunities to our guests to introduce themselves. I'll leave that up to Madam Chair if it's possible to do that. I would really love to hear what each one of our guests has to say. And the vision of becoming an international competition winner, I thought that was very clever and very wonderful. And by the way, that speech is available on YouTube and also on Toastmasters International, I believe, so that you can go and watch that and use that as an example for Toastmasters to people that you meet anywhere. I believe when the first speaker was being introduced, the shake hands was with the Toastmaster of the Day instead of with the speaker. I believe that it's traditional in our Toastmasters environment that we hand over the control of the meeting as we go along from each person to each of the roles, so that the Toastmaster of the Day should have Oh, it was actually the evaluator of the speech then handed over to Yasunori, so it was a little bit confusing. It was a little bit out of place because she then shook hands with the Toastmaster of the day, and then Yasunori came up with no handshake.
So it was unusual.
It was unusual. It was unusual. The speaker, I really loved. It's already been mentioned. The repetition, the humour, their educational aspects, the honesty, the attitude. The video was very inspiring. Table topics to talk about job application. Also an interesting aspect, which is doesn't have to literally come to play, but it's useful to have that aspect to come up. And it needs to be pointed out that in table topics we don't have to tell the truth. Of course we have to give an answer, but whether it's the answer to the question or not, the goal is that you stand up there, that you beat the clock. As soon as the green card is there, you can stop. As soon as the red card is there, you should stop. I take to heart the opportunity that our grammarian pointed out, that we need to see each situation as an opportunity and not necessarily as a negative aspect. So in summing up, this is a great club for learning and appreciating and growing and improving teamwork, improvisation, communication and leadership skills. And on that note, I hand over control to our Toastmaster of the day.